Hello, Gene Schwimmer here. Welcome to today's vlog. Today was a little bit difficult for me as far as choosing what to talk about. I had two choices that I was trying to decide between. One of them was to do another Joe Biden dementia update. The other one was to share an important court victory that a conservative website won, and it's also an important victory just for any conservative who believes in free speech. As you can see from the title, I'm doing a liberal media bias update. That's the choice I made today. I have to talk about Project Veritas for a moment. They're the ones who won this victory against the New York Times. But some of you may not know what Project Veritas is, so I'm going to just take a moment to describe them. Actually, I'm going to read you some excerpts from the About webpage on their website, and I link to the website in the description so you could visit the website and explore the website. They do important work. You may have heard of them or their leader, founder, James O'Keefe, but, well, let me read the description here. James O'Keefe established Project Veritas in 2011 as a nonprofit journalism enterprise to continue his undercover reporting work. Today, Project Veritas investigates and exposes corruption, dishonesty, self-dealing, waste, fraud, and other misconduct in both public and private institutions to achieve a more ethical and transparent society. Project Veritas journalists, and here's a photo of them, by the way. As you can see, their faces are all pixelated out. That's because these are the reporters who go undercover in various organizations. Obviously, they don't want their faces known so that people know who they are. Project Veritas journalists working undercover on their own or by, with, and through idealistic insiders bring to the American people the corrupt private truths hidden behind the walls of their institutions. The biggest audience for any Project Veritas video, and that's what they do. Project Veritas sends reporters into various organizations to secretly videotape and audio tape employees and officials of these organizations saying things, admitting things that they would never say or admit in public, and then posting the videos, causing great embarrassment to these organizations and ultimately these officials and employees to be fired or to resign. The biggest audience for any Project Veritas video was the release of the, quote, hot mic, unquote, confession by ABC News anchor Amy Robach to her studio crew. She had the whole Jeffrey Epstein story, but her network suppressed it because of pressure from the British royal family. When Project Veritas takes on an investigation, the pattern is clear. Project Veritas launches an investigation with the placement of our undercover journalists. The rollout of our findings creates a growing and uncontainable firestorm of press coverage. Corruption is exposed, leaders resign, and organizations are shut down. Now that you know what Project Veritas is, who they are, what they do, let's get to the court case that they just won. And this was, well, let me get right into the article. Here's the headline: Victory. Court delivers huge win for Project Veritas against the New York Times. Yesterday, which would be March 18th, I'm recording this on the 19th. Yesterday, Justice Charles D. Wood of the Supreme Court of New York in Westchester County denied the New York Times' motion to dismiss in the defamation lawsuit brought forward by Project Veritas. Project Veritas' lawsuit came to be due to the New York Times' labeling Project Veritas' investigation into illegal ballot harvesting taking place in Minnesota during the 2020 election cycle as, quote, deceptive, unquote. The New York Times defended calling Project Veritas' Minnesota ballot harvesting videos, quote, deceptive, unquote, by arguing this was simply an, quote, unverifiable expression of opinion, unquote. And I'll just jump in here for a second for those of you who don't know. When it comes to suing somebody for slander or libel, it has to be done with, well, knowledge of the facts being wrong, or knowledge of the story being, or the allegation or whatever, the statement being false, and having made that statement with malicious intent or with reckless disregard of the facts or what could happen from making the statement. The defense that people use, and which is a defense that I use when I say something sometimes, I'm very careful to say, this is only my opinion, so don't sue me. This is only my opinion, because opinions can be right or wrong, so you can't sue somebody for merely expressing an opinion. So that's what the Times tried to do here. They tried to say that this reporter was merely expressing an opinion. That was their defense. But Project Veritas pointed out this, quote, opinion was printed in the news section of the New York Times, and the court agreed. In other words, it wasn't in the editorial section, it was in the news section. So the court said, quote, if a writer interjects an opinion in a news article and will seek to claim legal protections as opinion, it stands to reason that the writer should have an obligation to alert the reader that it is an opinion, unquote. The Times did not do so, and the court found this troubling. And that's what I was just talking about. When I say something that I am worried about getting sued for, or to be accused of slander or libel, I always say, this is only my opinion. I make sure to note that it is my opinion, specifically for that reason. But this reporter did not do that. This reporter just stated something in a news story, not an editorial section where it's understood to be the expression of an opinion. And the court agreed with Project Veritas. The court found Project Veritas demonstrated, and this is the important part, the court found Project Veritas demonstrated, quote, a substantial basis in law and fact that the defendants, the New York Times, acted with actual malice. That is, with knowledge that the statements in the articles were false or made with reckless disregard of whether they were false or not, unquote. And Project Veritas should be permitted to, quote, conduct discovery, unquote. And here's where it really gets good. The ability of Project Veritas to conduct discovery. This ruling means Project Veritas will now be able to put New York Times reporter Maggie Astor and New York Times executive editor Dean Beckett under oath, where they will be forced to answer our question, Project Veritas's questions. Project Veritas will record these depositions and expose them for the world to see. So Project Veritas, as they have done along their whole modus operandi, they are going to get to interview a New York Times reporter and the New York Times executive editor under oath, ask questions which they will be forced to answer, the reporter and the editor, and they are going to post the videos on the internet where we can all see them, which is going to be really wonderful because, well, this is the second time this has happened. This is why this is such a great victory if you believe in free speech and if you really, really, really are disgusted with our biased media. Remember Nick Sandmann. Nick Sandmann was the young man wearing a MAGA hat, Make America Great hat, in Washington, D.C. And he was, well, a video was shown of him with a Native American. Sandmann was just standing there smiling, listening to this Native American, but the Washington Post and other publications made it seem as if Nick Sandmann was racially berating the Native American. That was totally false. Play of the entire video showed that conclusively. Sandman won a multi-million-dollar settlement. We don't know the settlement precisely because the details were not disclosed. That often happens. The suit is settled, and one of the conditions of settling the suit is that the conditions, the amount of damages paid, not be disclosed. But he had sued for $275 million. So whatever the amount was, we can be sure it was pretty substantial. And now it looks like the New York Times might be having to pay a substantial settlement to Project Veritas, which is a real thorn in the side of all these organizations. They have exposed embarrassing statements and incidents in Google, in Facebook, in any number of organizations. They really hate Project Veritas, and for the New York Times to have to pay a settlement, certainly a multi-million-dollar settlement, I would guess, but even if it's just hundreds of thousands of dollars, it's just a principle. It's going to be very, very embarrassing. But also the depositions, this is the really good part, because as I understand it, the depositions I could be wrong, in the Sandman case were not made public. The case this time is that Project Veritas is going to publish the entire videos, the entire deposition. So we're going to be able to see these reporters, hear the questions, hear how they answer. I am personally looking very much forward to watching these videos, and I would imagine that many of you are too. So until that happens, this is it for today. If you could give me a thumbs up if you like this video, that would really be great. You could make any comments you might have in the comment section below the video, suggestions for future topics. You could subscribe. I love getting new subscribers. You can visit my music channel and my food channel. They are both, or cooking channel, they are both in the description. Links are. And just as always, I appreciate you spending some time with me. I really do appreciate it. I am happy that you come to see me. I would love to see all of you again. I look forward to seeing all of you again. And until I do see all of you again, bye.